Welcome back. You're listening to At Your Service here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Coming up right now is Ask the Consul. Thanks to you for staying with me. Right up until we go right up until 12 o'clock. It's our Ask the Consul. And my very special guests, yes, Rohan Wilson. Good morning, Rohan. Good morning. And Beth Chesterman.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Let me make sure I get those names right. Rohan Wilson and
Beth Chesterman.
Good. Now, today you're here to give us more information about what's happening in terms of visa requirements and so on. And also, today we're going to spend some time paying attention to those American citizens who are living in Jamaica. So, if you're an American citizen, and by the way, persons can hear us all over the world, so you never can tell. They're listening to us on just my call. Let me just remind you of the numbers that you can call. So if you're an American citizen, we're going to have information for you today, and we will also be taking calls about other visa issues and immigration matters. Let me just remind you of the landed line numbers to call: 924-0753, 924-0739, 924-0222, 924-0696, and our cell number is 618-8255. Now, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to start off this time? Let me see who's a faster runner, because I know you have some information to give me. You're going to start off, what?
Yes, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having us here today. Rohan and I work in the American Citizen Services section, and we do have an exciting event coming up on May 12th. At 1 p.m. At the embassy. We're going to be hosting a town hall for Social Security beneficiaries, and if anyone's interested in attending that, they can RSVP by emailing us at kingstonacs@state.gov.
That is the word Kingston, that's Kingston, then ACSA, Alpha, C, Charlie, S, Sugar. You got that? Come on, get that pen ready. Let me start again. I know you don't have a pen. You have to get the pen and paper. Kingston, then ACS, at state, state.gov. You got that? You didn't get it? I'm going to put it on my Facebook page at facebook.com/AYS Wade Vernon. Yes, what is this all about, though? This town hall meeting. Tell us more about it.
Right, so the regional officers from the Social Security Administration are going to be visiting in Kingston, and will be able to answer any questions people have about processing their Social Security benefits while living in Jamaica.
What are some of those questions that persons might ask? Because we're talking now about citizens, right? Rohan?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. What are some of the questions that you think persons might ask?
Well, sometimes if people are moving from the U.S. back to Jamaica to retire, for example.
Okay.
Exactly. They'll have to set up their bank account and things like that so they can receive the benefits from the U.S.
Even their pension and so on.
Exactly.
Okay. And what's your, you have a particular government scheme for pension. What is it called?
Social Security.
Social Security. That's it. Social Security. So that has, because that money now will have to be sent. But how do we see that? That those monies will be sent directly to their bank accounts, or how is it sent?
That's how it is. There is some arrangement with the National Commercial Bank in particular.
Yes.
And as it is now, we do have 2 days during the week, every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we accommodate Social Security inquiries. We have someone who deals with these inquiries. We do not directly represent the Social Security facility,
right,
but we take inquiries and we make representation accordingly for our persons making inquiries.
I'm sure Americans living here will be concerned about their health in terms of accessing certain health benefits overseas. How do they deal with that? You're living in Jamaica, and there are probably certain health benefits that you want to...
Right, so Medicare and Medicaid do not actually work overseas. This is just separate for Social Security.
Also, that doesn't work. That's interesting.
Exactly.
So Medicare and is it
Medicaid.
Medicaid. Oh, so you lose that if you're in a foreign country.
Right, it works in the U.S. only.
Any other questions, I think? By the way, you voting, for example, if I want to register, in Jamaica, you have to register to vote. How that works in the States? And if you're living overseas, for example, I'm sure many Americans probably want to know how, if I want to vote. I know if I go overseas, I can't vote.
Right. No, and actually that's a great question, because actually 2014 is another election year in the U.S., and actually primary season has already started up in some of the states.
That's different from your presidential election.
Right, so these are for congressional primaries, for example.
Okay.
And there's also state elections going on as well. So individuals living overseas are required to register to vote each year. They're outside of the U.S., and they can actually do that online at fvap.gov.
FVAP.gov.
Right, and that stands for the Federal Voting Assistance Program.
That's quite interesting. Persons who are living in other Caribbean countries, for example, they want information. How do they get it? Because you don't have an embassy in all the Caribbean countries.
You mean information about voting?
Yes, voting and even your social security benefits and so on.
Right, so they can actually, they can contact their nearest embassy for their inquiries. And for example, if there's not a Social Security person there to process the question, we can forward that to the regional office. And actually the regional office is who's going to be visiting for the town hall on May 12th at 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Well, we can have it broadcasted on the internet so that persons can listen to what's happening, because I'm sure there are citizens probably living in other Caribbean countries.
Right, we are going to try to video it and have it available.
Okay, that's good news. All right, going to go for the break right now. It's Ask the Consul and our very special guests, Rohan Wilson and Beth Chesterman. Come back, you're listening to At Your Service here on Nationwide Media FM, a revolution in minutes. Ask the Consul. We have Angela online. Let's go to Angela. Good morning, Angela. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm fine.
It's Andrea, right?
Yes.
Good to have you. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Two questions. One of the persons mentioned that citizens living in Jamaica, they don't get access to Medicare and they lose benefits from Medicare and Medicaid.
Yes.
However, if the person goes back into the country, would they still have access to it, or is it that just for the time they are out of the country? And the other question is, how long can a green card holder stays out of the country for?
You want to take that now?
All right. So in regard to... Yes. Hi, Andrea. How are you doing today?
Fine.
That's great. Thanks so much for calling in. In regard to your question about Medicare and Medicaid, just to clarify, it just means there is no coverage overseas. So, right, if you return to the U.S., you could reapply to have coverage in the U.S.
Okay. Okay.
And as far as being outside of the U.S. as a green card holder, you'll have to, it is approximately 6 months, but what I would recommend is going to our website, which is kingston.usembassy.gov, and there is additional information for green card holders regarding the travel requirements.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thanks much.
Another question here. Let me see who I should throw it at now. Rohan?
Sure.
Do you have a family package for a visa application?
Absolutely. That's a very good question.
Yes.
And let me say a very good morning once again to your listeners. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me, being a Jamaican, to be exercising or to be bringing information to my fellow Jamaicans as it relates to the visa process. A lot of persons think that it is somewhat, out of this world to be able to give them the opportunity to travel to the U.S.
yes.
And that is not so.
Yes.
But as far as it relates to family packages and visa applications, when you make an appointment, the system allows you to make an application or make appointments for family. If you go to the website that Beth just mentioned, kingston.usembassy.gov, and you check out the non-immigrant visa section of that website, if you articulate your way around, you will figure out exactly how you can go about making an appointment for yourself and your family.
All right. There's a cost for family separate, or do you pay for each family? Each member of the family.
Once again, a very good question. Each applicant, each family member is required to pay a separate or an individual fee. And for the non-immigrant visa applications, most of our applicants will know that this is $160 US. That amounts to about 18,400 Jamaican dollars currently. So each individual applicant will have to pay an individual application fee. And I remember applicants, those fees are valid for just about 1 year after the time that it has been purchased.
Have to act on it.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's go and hear from Romaine. Good morning, Romaine.
Good morning, Mr. Riley.
Right, and you know I have my guests.
Yeah, good morning to your guests.
Yeah,
Good morning.
Rohan and Beth.
Good morning again. I have two questions. One question is, before my wife was filed for me, I have a visa. After I got my visa, she filed for me. And when I did my interview August of last month, and I did my interview on the 26th, in which I was told to go and register with Rachel and pick up my book in 5 days' time. I emailed the embassy and I heard that it is in administrative processing. And now they called me in February of this year and told me to come in for another interview, which was March 3rd, in which I did so, and they told me that my medical is expired, so I need to do it and send it in back. And from then I sent it in back. Up until now I have not heard anything, and they told me I have to leave before April, the end of April.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
My name is Romaine.
Romaine, thanks for calling today and giving us your question. Of course, we're not able to speak specifically about your specific case, but you said you were told to email your...
I was told I went in there for my interview, and I told that everything was good, so, but my medical is expired.
Right, and you were called in February and asked to redo the medical?
Yeah, I did the medical and sent it in back through DHL.
Okay, so what I will ask you to do to get the most accurate information is to send an email to Kingston IV.
Yeah, I sent an email,
Right.
and when I sent an email, they said I need to go and register with DHL, and I sent back an email telling them that I already registered with DHL.
Okay, so you have already registered.
Also, I went on the case status immigration visa to check on the case,
Yes?
and I see on the top, the READY ready. But in the bottom of the boxes, they are saying that we need to make an appointment to another interview, such and such and such and such. I don't understand.
All right, so I will still advise you to go to the go through the email system, send an email telling giving all the information that you just gave us.
Yeah.
And indicate to them that you have done all that has been required of you, and we would like to know what the status is. Of course, we advise that you not send an email again until 5 days after you send the initial email, because we have hundreds, literally hundreds of cases working on a daily basis, and therefore it's almost impossible for us to respond to everyone instantly. So we ask that you be a little patient with us. Send an email indicating all that you do.
What I want to ask, my wife, mom, she died yesterday. So she embassy
Sorry to hear that.
She called to find out if I could get the chance to travel to the funeral, which will be next week Thursday.
Okay. I would like to also ask that you include this bit of information in your email.
Okay, I will do it. She has email the embassy, but I will do so.
Okay. We're very sorry to hear of your mother-in-law's passing.
Okay.
But send us an email and I'm sure that you will be responded to.
Thank you very much. Also, I need to ask another question. When you get a one-entry visa, somebody asked me to ask, when you get a one-entry visa, you get a 3-month visa, and you travel and spend 2 weeks. How soon after you can reapply for another visa?
That's a great question. So if it's a one-entry visa, obviously it can only be used one time. But once they've returned from that trip, they can reapply again for another visa. There's no wait time limit or anything. They can apply as soon as they've returned.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks very much, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much.
Oh, yes, we will. Thank you very much. You continue to listen. All right, let's go now and hear from Janet. Good morning, Janet.
Good morning, Mr. Darby and guest.
Good morning, Janet.
Rohan and Beth.
Rohan and Beth.
Beth.
Yes, good morning to you. Okay, I'm just asking a very, what I think is a very complicated question, but let me go ahead. About 5 years ago, approximately 4.5 to 5 years ago, application was started for me to go to live in the U.S. Now, when the very first set of papers went in, I changed my mind. I decided I didn't want to leave Jamaica to live anywhere. And nothing more was done. Everything just automatically ended right there. As I said, it's 5 years ago. Now, the question is, my 10-year U.S. visa is now up for renewal. What is the situation? Do I need to explain to them why we didn't go any further with that situation, that filing, or is it a non-issue since so many years have passed?
Hi, Janet. This is Beth.
Yes.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
That's great. So actually, that's a great question. We actually get that one quite a bit. If you're going to be going to renew your visa and you have had somebody file an immigrant petition for you in the past, during the interview, most likely you will be asked about that immigrant petition, and at that time, I'd recommend presenting all of the information about why you changed your mind and why you have, established further ties in Jamaica.
Okay. Well, I've lived there all my life,
Exactly.
So never really wanted to go, but relatives were encouraging me to come, and since the opportunity presented.
All right, so what you can do, when you go there, you just give them, make sure you speak the truth and nothing but the truth.
Exactly.
All right?
That's great.
All the best. You have a wonderful day. Okay. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning. Good to have you at your service. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
My Mr. Darby.
Miss Beatrice, how you doing? I was wondering if you disappear on me.
Yes, sir. The phone cut off. I don't know. I never hear it. I just email again.
Okay, you go ahead then.
I didn't have a visa here. A 10-year visa. I go one time and never go back. You think I could go again and reapply?
Go on. Hi, Miss Beatrice, how you doing?
Not too bad, sir.
Where are you calling from?
Come to Manchester.
We're going down in Manchester.
Yeah, what?
We get big rain. Start time. I sit up down here.
That's good. That's good. Well, not the mosquitoes, but I mean the rain is good to cool the place down.
Mosquito man with the outside them. I say don't throw them away. I'm controlling them.
Well, Miss Beatrice, I'm more than happy to advise you that using a visa, a non-immigrant visa, only once is certainly not any means that will suggest that you will not qualify again for a visa. All right, so you can feel free to apply at your own leisure.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you can just follow the procedures, the necessary procedures, and apply for another visa.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, man, you take care and all the best. All right, let's go to another caller. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. So like it's rolling there, man. I hope you're not driving.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to stop.
No, can't have that.
I'm going to stop.
You think you are come make news for my program?
I know. May I speak to the gentleman at the embassy?
Yes, Rohan.
American embassy.
Rohan, he's listening.
Hi, this is Rohan.
Rohan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. I'm disappointed. I have a problem going to the States. I have my visa, but my hairdresser, let me tell you something. My hairdresser has a son. He's about 14, 15 thereabouts. He was about developed meningitis, and he was in hospital for over 6 weeks here in Jamaica. He had surgery, and the surgery was successful, and so his father, who is a resident in the States, sent for him, and he's going to overseas, and immediately, one day after he arrived, he had to do another surgery, and his mother went to the embassy to apply for an emergency visa to go visit his son, and they turned her down. Why are they so hard?
I'm sorry. What did you say your name was? I didn't get your name.
My name is Joyce, but it's not me. It's my hairdresser. I'm just calling on her behalf because she is so distraught. Because her son is in hospital with meningitis, with his brain swelling up ever so often, he's getting convulsions. And she went to the embassy and they turned her down.
Of course.
And this lady is not interested in staying in the States because her daughter, who is 21, 22, will soon be, who is a resident there, will soon be able to file for her. And she's not in any haste to go there. She just wanted to go and visit with her child who's in hospital. And the embassy told her, no, they're so tough.
Okay, Joyce. I'm very sorry to hear about your friend's son's case. But unfortunately, I don't know the details of that particular case. And of course...
I just told you.
Yeah, but I don't know the specific details, the intricate details of that case. And of course, even if I did, we wouldn't be able to speak about it here. But
she got a letter from the doctor down here. She had a photograph of his head and the surgery that they did down here. She took all that she could from the hospital and the letter from up there, and they still turned her down.
That said, Joyce, we still have to remember that not everyone who applies for a visa will qualify. And not everyone who applies, even in the event of an emergency situation, will apply. In fact, I will ask my colleague Beth to expound a little more on that matter.
Right. So each non-immigrant visa applicant does have to show their ties to Jamaica and also that they're going to be using the visa properly. And as Rohan explained, it's hard for us to get into the details of this case without, reviewing it and talking to the applicant directly. But, your friend is welcome to reapply again. This doesn't preclude her.
I'm nervous. She was a little more bad and get to see his mom.
Well, I'm very sorry. I know this is a difficult situation for her, but what I would recommend is that she can reapply again and present the information.
She's not going to reapply. She's lost about 15 pounds.
Yes, but I guess I don't think I can go any further on that one because, as you know, every country has a right. Am I correct? So it's a discretionary thing. So I'm very sorry to hear that, but I'll give it a try again. You never can tell another officer.
No, I tell her not to go back because it's really that's a money-making thing, All they do is take your money and then turn it down. And then you come back to pay again. That's awful. They're awful people.
All right. Take care. All the best. Okay. Another caller? Pete. Okay, let's go to Pete now. Pete, how are you doing?
Good day, sir.
Not bad. Go right ahead.
All right. Calling on behalf of a family member. Like, his wife is in the States, right? But being that this man is like a family member to me, never, like in the past, some people in back in the days have issues with understanding how to deal with important papers, so you have a birth paper issue, right? Understand?
When it's a birth paper issue, I think I'm following. Is it the person is a Jamaican?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the birth paper issue? They couldn't do that birth paper issue here, that's by RGD.
That is one of the things that is holding him up and kind of going up in age. But this man is never yet been to any trouble with the law or anything. Understand? And running on all in trouble.
No, man, I'm trying to get to I'm trying to understand what is the problem. You said there's a birth certificate problem. Has that challenge been dealt with as yet?
All right. When he was a child, he didn't understand he didn't go to school, so he never really understand how to deal with the issue of what in life would have been like in the future right now. So
hold on. I'm trying to get you for you to get to the point because you see you're telling a story which I would love to listen to them, but this is weird and the other person's holding. Now why don't let that gentleman call us
what I'm saying.
Yes.
He has a birth paper right now that he's using, but in order to get his birth paper renewed, they're telling him that there's certain information that is not on this one.
Okay, what you have to do now, I think I pick it up. That person has to play it up with the RGD. Has to. They probably what's on his birth certificate is not the same as that is as information on the passport. They probably need to certain changes to be done. It seems to me you have to go to RGD.
Not really the passport, but for him to get a renewed birth certificate now so that he can really retire because he travels.
Right, I understand you, but I'm saying that if there's a difference on the birth certificate, it's not the same as what's at the RGD, then that has to be reconciled. That has to be dealt with first by RGD, then you deal with the passport, then you move from there.
Alright, but what I said to you, can I ask you for a number that I can get back to you, or somebody can really help me with this, because I don't want him to really stress over it.
No, but they must tell you what to do. Contact the RGD about them and let him go to contact the RGD. Call them and contact them. And if you're having challenges, you can text me. Send me a text message to 816-5261. All right?
Thank you very much, sir.
All the best. You have a wonderful day. Let's now go to Dan. Good morning, Dan. How are you? Good to have you.
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. And my guests are Rohan Wilson, Beth Chesterman. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Rohan. Hello. Yes. I was calling to get some information. My husband is on the farm work, right? He's been traveling since 2 years now. I'd like to know if he can go in and apply for a non-immigrant visa, because I have my non-immigrant visa for 10 years. I would love to travel sometime together, but I want to know if this will be an amp on his farm work thing.
Hi, Diane. This is Beth. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
That's good. So if your husband has had the H-2A visa before to do farm work,
yes,
he is welcome to apply for a tourist visa to travel to the U.S.
Okay.
Yep. So all the information regarding how to apply for that visa is available on our website, which is kingston.usembassy.gov.
Okay.
And he would just fill out the application and mark that he's interested in the tourist visa.
Okay, tourist visa.
Tourist visa, the B1, B2 visa.
B1, B2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then. Thank you much.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay.
All right, you have a wonderful day. Let's go now to Peter. Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Good morning.
At your service.
I would like to ask a question. It relates to my daughter. But first, let me start with me. I have had J1 visas, H2B, and had my 10-year visa at the renewed. But my daughter, at the time she was about 2 or 3, and she never got the chance to get the visa. She was turned down, and I don't understand why.
Beth?
All right.
Beth is going to take this
And
one.
how long, and hi, Peter, how are you doing today?
Not too bad.
That's good. And so you said you've had J1 visas, an H2B, and a 10-year visa before?
Yes, and I had it renewed as well.
Okay. And when was this that you went in to apply with your daughter?
Where?
Oh, no, when?
When? About 2 years ago.
Okay. And, you know, as we've said before, it's hard for us to comment on specific cases without reviewing them. But, you know, your daughter is welcome to apply again.
Yes, I know, but I don't understand why she was turned down. When I was asked one specific question, it was that why I didn't bring my daughter at the time when I was renewing my visa, right? And I said I didn't have the money at the time. But like a couple months later, I came up with the money. So I brought her to get the visa, in which I wanted to take her away for the Christmas with me, for a Christmas trip. But she was denied the visa.
Right. So, you know, like I said, you know, I can't comment on that specific case without reviewing it. However, what I would recommend, because a significant amount of time has passed, it's been a couple of years, I would recommend applying again and explaining the situation and also presenting your information and how you've used your visas as well.
I've used them well.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
For specific purposes.
All right, but just follow that suggestion. Give it a try again. All right?
All right.
Okay then. Beth and Rohan, basically, what's coming out, persons are asking why, but generally if you go to a country, don't give them a reason why not give them your visa. It's a discretionary act, right, as to whether or not you're granted that visa. So they're not obligated to give a reason as such.
Right, and the same as, you know, each country has their immigration laws and they designate who can travel into the country.
Right. All right, let's hear now. We have Mark on the line. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Hi, good morning, and good morning to your
At
panel.
your service,
I
yes.
just have a quick question for really ask. When the U.S. Embassy considers someone to be at flight risk, what is meant by that?
But you okay that one?
Yeah. And sorry, you said your name is Mark, right?
That's correct.
Right. And so, can you explain a little bit more? What do you mean by flight risk?
I have a friend who had a B1, B2 visa ever since from he was a kid. Went to school, you know, holiday, went to the United States, but unfortunately, he had a problem with the law here in Jamaica, right? And he has been going to court and stuff like that for over like a year. And then the court had his passport over the period. Still do have his passport, but he got a letter in the mail saying that he's a flight risk and his B1, B2 visa is cancelled.
Okay, Mark, did he get that letter from the U.S. Embassy?
That's correct.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
It wasn't signed. I must say it wasn't signed. It was just a letter, and it wasn't signed by anyone.
Thanks for calling the program, Mark, and that's a very good question. Based on what I know,
yes.
I don't know that the U.S. Embassy considers any individual a flight risk. However, the legal system here would or could possibly consider someone a flight risk. And if that happens, there is some likelihood of the court system
yes.
asking or making recommendations that travel documents and so forth be surrendered to the police, and as a result...
But the travel documents are surrendered, as the norms and stuff like that. But I'm saying, he was going to court over like a year. The court has his passport, and suddenly this letter came out.
Okay, I'll tell you what the best option is. Why don't you have your friend send an email about his specific situation to Kingston NIV at state.gov, and based on his specific situations, we might be able to address those concerns in a much more appropriate way.
It was like 2 years ago, but having heard what he said to me, and I listened to the program this morning, I just decided to call. So everything goes to the U.S. Embassy website.
Kingston.US Embassy, I'm sorry, Kingston.NIV at state.gov. Once we are aware of his specific situations, then I'm sure we'll be able to address his concerns or his questions more appropriately.
Okay, I'll tell him to do just that.
Sure. Thanks for calling, Mark.
Right, and thanks for the great job that you are doing.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Okay, have a wonderful day. Now we go to Rose, and I think that's probably the last call that we can take for today. And then you, gentlemen, lady, you have some other things to explain to us, so we talk about. All right, let's go to Rose.
Hi,
good afternoon. How am I running the day, Rose? How am I? Good morning, Rose.
Yes, how are you today?
Yes, not bad.
Yeah, yes.
I'm well, thanks.
Yes. My question is, I had a passport which expired along with the visa, and I got a new passport. And I got married after I got the new passport. And then I'm wondering if I have to go and get another passport with my name, or I can use that same passport to apply for the visa. Hello?
Rose,
yes?
That's a very, very good question.
Yes.
We have a lot of issues similar to yours in the non-immigrant visa section. So you're saying you have a new passport now?
Yes.
And the new passport have your...
Oh, your maiden name.
Your maiden name.
Yes.
But you're now married.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're wondering now, what are the options in terms of getting your married name on your... You have a current visa?
No, I said the visa expired along with the passport.
Okay.
That's the same year.
So what will happen is that when you make your application for your new visa, you will include on it your current name as it appears in the passport, but you will also include in aliases your new married name. That will be noted within our systems, but of course you have to understand that the visa must, if a visa is issued for you, it will be printed as it appears in your passport.
So I don't have to go and get a new passport?
That's all completely dependent on you. If that's your personal preference, if you want to see your married name reflected in your passport and on your visa, should it be approved, then that's a decision that you have to make on your own.
But right now, if I apply, I would have to use the maiden name. It would be the maiden name.
Right.
Name in the passport.
In the event that your visa is approved,
yes,
it will be printed in the name as it appears in your current passport.
No, what I'm afraid of, I don't want to tell any lies, and if they say your current status, in the passport it's showing maiden name, but I'm married, so I couldn't I couldn't say I am single.
Yes, ma'am, but all you need to do now is just walk with the marriage certificate.
Yes.
And, that will tie up everything.
Somebody said to you they'll make a note of it in your record. So, I think you're wearing you don't have to worry. You're wearing a
No, I was only saying I get this new one and I have to go change it for another one and pay that amount of money again.
Not going to beat it, but you say I worry for worry's sake, man. You have nothing to worry about.
Oh, so let's go with the same one.
That's what he said.
The old one.
No, man, I just tell them that you are now married and they'll make a note of that.
Okay.
That's not what I worry about. Yeah, man. And I wish you all the best. Just hope you get through.
Yes, thank you.
All right, you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, have a good day now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Gotta go for the break right now. You're listening to At Your Service here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in minutes. We feature Ask the Consul. When we come back, we're just going to wrap up and get some more information from these wonderful persons here today. So come back, don't move. Welcome back. You're listening to At Your Service here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. The final segment of Ask the Consul, and we have Rohan Wilson and Beth Chesterman. And you still have some more information. You have the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. Did you tell us about that?
Right. So the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, it's a website run by the State Department. And what that is for U.S. citizens overseas. They can register their trip, or if they're living in Jamaica long term, they can also register. And what that does is we send out messages, just routine messages, for example, promoting our upcoming town hall about Social Security. But also in the event of an emergency, we send out messages. The other thing, too, is if there were to be some sort of emergency and family in the U.S. was trying to get in contact with that person, then we would already have their contact information on file if they'd enrolled with the Smart Traveler program.
If you have to move them out of Jamaica, there's a problem, natural disaster or something like that, exactly where to find them. This is interesting, and I don't think many of our listeners know that. You have consular agencies in different parts of Jamaica?
Exactly.
Yes, we have a U.S. consular agency in Montego Bay. That's located in Iron Shore, in Witter Village. We also have a consular agency in the Cayman Islands. Of course, the embassy in Kingston has a consular district that is responsible for the Cayman Islands. And as such, our consular agency is located at 150 Smith Road, at Smith Road Center at Unit 202B. And that information can also be found on our websites, telephone contact and so forth, where both consular agencies are concerned.
But of course, they don't deal with visa issues at all.
No, our consular agencies, one has to remember that the U.S. Embassy, though when one thinks about the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, one primarily thinks about visas. The primary focus of the U.S. Embassy is to provide assistance to Americans. Visas pretty much secondary.
And the other things that the other services, especially services that you offer to Americans, you would probably tell us about some of these services.
Right, absolutely. Some of the services we offer to Americans are passport renewals, of course. We do passport renewals for minors, passport applications as well, for first-time passport applicants. We have consular report of birth abroad, that's where American citizens who have children that were born abroad can actually apply for citizenship for those children who were born abroad.
And they probably have a case of dual citizenship. They're born in Jamaica?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. And notary publics.
Right. So we offer notarial services for U.S. citizens or for non-citizens who are using a document that needs to be notarized in the U.S.
Okay.
So if you have a document and it says must be notarized by a U.S. notary, the only place that you can get that done overseas is either at the embassy or at the consular agencies.
Well, that's it. Any final word? You give us some. I don't think I need any more information for today. If you give me any more information, my head won't be able to manage it. I want to thank you very much, Rohan Wilson.
Thank you for having us.
And also Beth Chesterman.
Thank you so much for having us.
Love to have you back soon. I know your colleagues will be here week after next, right?
Absolutely.
Same time, same place.
I just wanted to say hi to my colleagues. I know they're listening back in the embassy. So big ups to Natty and British.
And oh yes, I know they listen to this program too. Anybody having any birthday?
Not quite sure.
All right, now what we have to say a special. Right now what we have to say a special. Right now what we have to say a special. Right now what we have to say a special. Right now what we have to